Hello everybody and welcome back for some weekly VR news. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. As we're right between Christmas and New Year's, it's unexpectedly one of the calmest weeks in VR news for 2024. There's pretty much no new games dropping this week, and there's only a handful of game updates to discuss. Making matters even worse, some users are experiencing failures with their brand new Quest headsets or ones that they've recently pulled out of long-term storage. So if you have that issue, I'm hoping to help today. And there are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by my long-term sponsor, Kiwi Design. If you're looking to make your Quest headset much more comfortable, or you want a top-of-the-line battery pack for up to 3 hours of extra gameplay, well then I highly recommend their brand new K4 Boost head straps. It's now available in both traditional and Halo strap versions, and not only are they cheaper than what Meta has to offer, they're also way more comfortable with some extra plush material. There's a link to Kiwi down in the description, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support my channel. Okay, so let's start things off like normal with the check-in, and that's what am I currently up to in the VR industry. And I actually have a list of unreleased games right now that I'm playing through that I'm really excited for. Can't name them, but it looks like 2025 is starting off really well. So I'm happy to report that. Additionally, I just have the whole I gotta upgrade things itch right now. Like I'm gonna be upgrading my system. I'm gonna be upgrading actually the room design. A lot of stuff going on. I'm gonna show it off in the near future. Just, make things bigger and better and more exciting in 2025. Not gonna waste any more time with this. I do have some hardware to talk about today and a few game stories. So let's just get into that. For those of you who are already enjoying Attack on Titan Unbreakable, I'm happy to report that part 2 of this game and the co-op mode are now available. This includes chapter 3, 4, and the epilogue of this title, and they're also promising an epic armored Titan boss fight. Now part 2 is actually a paid DLC available for $12, and I've actually been waiting to jump into this game for the full release, so it looks like I'm gonna start that up soon. Like normal, if you want me to cover this title, please leave a comment down below. Now unfortunately, that's all the news I have on games releasing this week, but don't take that as a bad sign. This is an expectedly quiet period, as most people just got a new headset for the holiday season, and they're not out looking for new game launches. Now we do also have some news for the competitive shooter of Vail. Apparently they've just opened up a crowd investment campaign. They're currently looking for minimum contributions of $1,000 in exchange for stock in the overall company. Now I wanted to get on screen to discuss this one because I've had a little bit of history with Vail. It kind of felt like one of those companies that was sketchy and I needed to talk about. So I did a video on Vail a while ago, and my issue was that the team was not focusing on game development, but instead doing all of these crazy things for hype and trying to promote it and not working on an actual good product. Like before the game was even remotely close to ready, they were throwing a big tournament in Miami, trying to make it a big promotional party type of thing. They also leaned so heavily into everything that was a hype buzzword. Like when Meta was pushing the whole metaverse, they were like, we have a metaverse too. They also started off with something we know went absolutely nowhere, which was NFTs. So they had some weird investment money in the beginning, different weird routes to get money out of people, and they were not focusing on the game itself. And repeatedly they said this title will never be on Quest because it's too robust. The physics are too high end. We can't cut it down to get it to run on a Quest. And we know if you're going to have a competitive multiplayer game in the VR industry, you gotta be on Quest. That's where most players are. There was also a supposed scandal where reviews on the Steam page were fake. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I saw a big list of what did look like AI generated, reviews. They were all kind of saying the same thing, but I don't know. I've also heard a bunch of other first-hand accounts from people in the industry, making me feel like the overall company is a bit shady. I will, however, say though, it does look like in the past year or so, they have hunkered down and made the game's overall development much more a priority. I just wish they had that focus from the very beginning and started off more as an actual game development studio rather than a hype-driven, get-rich-quick NFT major tournament, we're too good for the MetaQuest type of experience. It was originally supposed to be free to play, but that didn't happen. It was too good to ever be on Quest, but that didn't happen. And now they're going yet another unique route to get some more money. This is not a publicly traded company, so this isn't the type of stock that you could easily buy, trade, and sell. It's basically like NFTs again, and it's all made up. I do wish the overall game success. VR does need a solid competitive shooter. I just don't want to see any shadiness that gives the overall XR community a bad name. And continuing on that note, we have a brand new headset from Pimax. Hey, I'm back on screen again because this is another company I've had some issues with. I've gone back and forth with Pimax in the past. They were a little friendly, then they were super friendly when the Crystal was coming out, and now I'm completely cut off. I've openly discussed how I don't like how they do things at Pimax. They announce 17 different products, they make insane promises, and they never deliver. And then by the time one headset comes out, they're already announcing the next one, and it's just this hype fueled, the next thing is going to be the best thing. Just keep the money coming in so we can keep the lights on, and we'll just keep promising you guys stuff. They sell hopes and dreams. The original promise was these massive headsets that gave you a field of view that's insane, but they never actually delivered. Like, they were heavy, they were cumbersome, they always had some type of flakiness, and there was like a good amount of warping whenever you went that wide in the field of view, so they were less than ideal. Now, for a while, I considered them the enthusiast headset, the tweakers headset. Like, if you wanted to really dial in your settings, or you're someone who plays Sims, you focus on one major game, graphics for the end all be all, sure. But they failed to deliver time and time again, and they seem to just be all over the place. Hey, we're making a console-like device that also slides into a case and becomes a VR headset, and then you could also use it like a Nintendo Switch, and it's amazing, and it does everything, and it's a handheld console, and they didn't deliver on any of that. Like, oh, and then we'll just pretend we never spoke about it. And then, oh, here's the Pimax Crystal. Oh, Crystal's not done, half the features don't work, but here's the Crystal Lite. And, oh, don't worry, the 12K is still coming, we promise. And, oh, now we know what you guys want. You want a headset that looks like the Apple Vision Pro, but it's light like the big screen beyond, and has the Quest controllers, because we give you the best of everything. And it's like, well, I don't believe you at this point. You're going to deliver a headset that doesn't work, or half the features are missing. And on top of that, the pricing that they're doing. It's $1,200 plus a 2-year subscription service. It is nutty, man. I don't know how Pimax is still allowed to do this. And for the first time, it looks like the overall community is seeing through the BS. Like, if you look at the chat on Reddit, people are fed up with it, and consumers all over the place. My Crystal came broken, and you're trying to deliver a new type of headset. You didn't even fix my broken Crystal. And I was one of those people. I got 2 back-to-back delivered broken. So they need quality control. They need to, focus down and actually make a decent headset overall. They need to stop including gimmicky stuff. People want a solid headset with a display port, doesn't break the bank, and has high-end specs. I get it. They're willing to spend a little bit more, but if you're in the 2,000 to 3,000 range, you're getting incredibly high, and you just need to offer something that no one else can come close to at that price, which they're not doing. If it came and it delivered, boom, I'd support them. But at this point, I can't trust them. And that was my Pimax rant. So what I'm saying is, probably don't invest into the Dream Air, because you're investing into hopes and dreams. And now let's go on to even more bad news, the fact that the Meta Quest has been having update issues for a lot of people. Apparently, if you haven't used your headset in quite some time, it'll obviously tell you that you need some new updates, and sadly, during this process, your headset becomes unresponsive. Now, this isn't exactly new. We have seen this in the past, but since there's a lot more people activating and updating headsets right now, there's a lot more people experiencing the same issue at the same time. Now, it looks like the issue is primarily affecting Quest 2 headsets that, like I said, haven't been on for a very long time, and they're on a much older firmware. And when you upgrade from this very old firmware to the newest, something goes wrong, even potentially bricking your headset. It doesn't look as common in the Quest 3 and Quest 3S headsets. Obviously, they're a bit newer. They should be on a much more current firmware out of the box. Now, Meta recommends that if your headset's not turning back on after an update, you hold down the power button for 45 seconds before releasing it. Hopefully this will do a full shutdown and it will start back up. If you have a bricked headset that just won't go on at all anymore, unfortunately, you're going to have to contact support. I'm hoping they'll have some major fix for everybody. It's really strange to see a completely bricked headset. Like, that's really not common. And upgrading firmware on a headset that's not responding at all gets a bit tricky. So hopefully Meta gets this all straightened out. Now, I'd love to hear down in the comments if you're someone who recently got a new headset like a Quest 3 or Quest 3S and it's broken out of the box. It doesn't seem like that's very common. Obviously, it can happen. 15% of hardware sold these days does leave the factory with some type of defect. So obviously, I'm expecting there's a bunch of broken ones out there. But if you're seeing the issue with the update, I'd love to know. Now, as of making this video, Meta was saying that it's safe to update your headset. I hope that is the case. If you want to be extra careful, maybe give it one more week before you pull that old Quest 2 out of the closet. And they've also stated that they are looking into solutions for users who have headsets out of warranty. So it doesn't look like they're going to leave people who experience this issue high and dry. Now, this still sucks though for anyone who had their Christmas day ruined. And I'll give you guys a little secret here. If you bitch and moan to Meta support, a lot of times they just throw you some store credit. You didn't hear that from me. This is not public. This is a secret. I didn't say this, guys. Totally didn't hear this from me. But if you bitch and moan to them, sometimes they throw you store credit. Just be like, hey, I've been a supporter forever. What the hell, dude? This is messed up. Christmas Day, my kid wanted to play XYZ game. They were so excited. You made them cry. You made my kid cry. Okay, how much is your kid worth? $50 store credit? All right, that's how we roll. Okay, everybody. That was today's video. Very ranty, not typical, not a lot of news as expected. But I hope you guys enjoyed this anyway. If you did, thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And as always, I'll see you guys on next time.